Western countries literally provide nothing for free. People think that Western countries, whether it be Canada, USA, Germany, or UK, or whatever, think they get good benefits in terms of old age security, pensions, and also healthcare that's universal for everyone, education that's universal education from kindergarten all the way to grade 12. Well, I'm here, sorry to break it for all you people around the world dreaming of a quote-unquote better life in a Western country such as Canada, for example. Any Western country, goes for any Western countries, not just Canada, but I want to focus on Canada because things have deteriorated rapidly in the last 5 years, not just because of COVID, but because of how inefficient the government is and how much bureaucracy there is. And also, it all really boils down to how people view each other in Western countries and treat other people in Western countries. People in Western countries are just being treated as their face is just treated as a rat's ass by the government and other people, even by your fellow citizens. Your face is a rat's ass to your fellow citizens and your own government. Let's take an example here. I took this photo here around 2 years ago during COVID, using my iPad. Not the best photo, but it's close enough. You get the idea. Bunch of tents over here in a park in Vancouver, Canada. So if somebody's a normal person, whether you're born in Vancouver, born in Canada, or immigrated to Canada when you were 5 or 10 years old, or a new immigrant who immigrated when you're 20 or 30 years old, basically, if you're a normal person, you no longer get a job. You no longer get a job, and you no longer get a small house if you're just for being alive. What people get these days is no job and no house, but you get unemployment and you get a tent over here. 1950s all the way to 1990s and probably mid 2000s, everybody who wasn't like a dysfunctional person, you're basically guaranteed at least a small house and a job. But right now, no job, no house, just a tent in the park or on the street, and unemployment. Nobody seriously cares. It goes for other Western countries as well. For example, in the USA, Micron, that chips and SD card company, electronics part accessories company, got screwed over by the USA sanctions on China. So their sales to China, their total sales went down by 40% and massive layoffs because USA put a sanctions limit what they can export to China. But government of USA and whatever, nobody cares that business went down by 40%. It was mass layoffs. They don't care about the average citizen. They don't care about your average worker or company. Even if it means putting people in a tent and putting them on the street. Okay, let's go to healthcare now. 11,000 people in Ontario, province of Canada, just one province, so it's like 35 to 40% of the population lives in Ontario. Not the majority, but significant portion. 11,000 people died on waiting lists for various surgeries such as heart surgery, lung surgery, brain cancer, hip replacement surgery. If you're like an old person, fragile bones, broken hip and whatever, you need a hip replacement surgery. Well, you're out of luck because you're going to wait years and years to get surgery, and while you're in pain and suffering, they want you to do medically assisted suicide, called MAID, medically assisted suicide, in order to save money. So the government is not interested in investing in training new nurses, doctors, surgeons, and technicians to help people. What they want to do is save money and use a little bit of money to have patients basically kill themselves, medically assisted suicide. This is just wrong. And a lot of people, so medically assisted suicide was originally just for people who are like in terminal decline, terminal death. There's no helping them and they're going to die sooner or later. But regardless of what doctors and nurses and whatever do, nothing can help these people. But now medically assisted suicide is being used on people not because they're in terminal, they have a terminal illness with no cure, but these people could be fixed with surgeries and appropriate treatment, but these people are not given the services that they need, and this denial of service is making people live in pain and suffering. And now the government and healthcare system wants these people to kill themselves, even though they can be saved. And a lot of these illnesses and procedures are trivial issues. So governments no longer want to help people. They just want to kill people. It doesn't matter how much you email or phone Justin Trudeau or your health executive of the hospital or the government, provincial governments, health ministries. Nobody just gives a crap about people these days. Everybody's face is just a rat's ass to the government and politicians, and also to your fellow citizens. Don't immigrate to Canada if you are not already in Canada. There's no jobs, no housing, no healthcare when you need it. It doesn't matter if you're a young person, 20 or 30 years old, getting screwed over from no job and no affordable housing or no housing at all. But even if you did everything right and legally and made an honest living for your whole life, and now you're 60, 70 or 80 years old, you're also getting screwed over because nobody cares about you. You have no voice. Canadians, Americans, British, Germans, and whatever Western countries, average citizens, normal people, majority of people have no voice. Only the super rich people have a voice because they're famous. And this is just wrong how people are being treated these days, but this is the reality. The Western world is no longer the promised land like it used to be, and what you see on advertisements by immigration consultants and educational institutions, whether it be mainstream universities, mainstream colleges, or just diploma mills, they're basically selling a life that no longer exists in Western countries, and there's no guarantee you're going to become a permanent resident or citizen of another country because you can't even find jobs these days. No affordable housing. How are you going to pay for and support for your life if you're a new immigrant to a Western country like Canada, when even the people born there or lived there for 5, 6, or 8 generations from 100 years ago, not even these people can manage when they speak the language and they know the whole system. There's no hope anymore. And this is just demo crazy. Politicians, government no longer give a crap about citizens. They just rob people blind under the cover of law using the legal system. Half the year, you're basically working for the government through various taxes, and restaurants are just so expensive. You get taxed 5% for eating at a restaurant, but if there's HST like in Ontario, you're basically paying over 10% just to have cooked food from a restaurant or whatever, just to survive. So you basically have to give the government a fee, a tax to feed yourself. That's just sad. And restaurants, nobody gives about how profitable a restaurant is, or how much they earn and how much profit they have, or if they're successful or not. They're going to get charged a $10,000 to $30,000 property tax as a flat fee for their business anyways. Well, that's why most restaurants fail and eating out so expensive, because they have to pass on this property tax, which is a nicer way of saying government rent to customers. Your people in Western countries are just slaves to the government. This is neo-feudalism, a high-tech feudal society. If you want to feed yourself, you have to pay tax to the government. You want to clothe yourself, you have to pay tax to the government. You want to start a small business like a restaurant, well, you're going to get taxed a flat fee. Nobody cares if you earn a profit or not. You're going to give money away.